Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families and the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Good morning, everybody. It is definitely the end of the corporate age. That's another bungled intro, which apparently is just the way it's supposed to be anyway. So when the intro goes smooth, you know things are going to be wrong. Just wrong. Yesterday's blue screen of death during the David Hildebrand We the People messed up the whole console, and I didn't even notice till today. So I've been thinking about other stuff. So I was fixing that as we were running the intro. That's long time ago, we had this cover that said we were building this ship as we fly it. That is so true. It continues to be that way. I don't think that'll ever change. And that's for our government and us and as a species and all of that stuff. Good morning, everybody. Barbara, Melissa, Ninetails, Louise, Kat, Jupiter, Jeanette, and who else we got in here? Metalhead, Ninetails, Poodle, Susan, Sidekick, Nick, Melissa H, Al Walski. How you doing, Barbara? Mo Levy, good to see you. Granite State Burner. See, Uptail, here me, Ninetail says, whenever you need a breakdown about climate events and why they're happening, you can ask me. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Why don't you let me know when something serious is going on and just ping me on Twitter at Bernie2016TV and hashtag it climate change and just say, shit's going down over here if you're keeping up with things. That would be great. I can't keep track of all the climate disasters. Hey, Ellis Ray. Good to see you. Good to see you. If I missed anybody, let me know. Sure, we'll see you later. Denise, how are you? Dennis. Crazy German Dennis is here. And our wonderful person from Denmark, Jeanette, how are you? And of course, with me today, as always, is Markus, the Burning German. Good morning, Markus.
Yeah, good morning, John, and good morning, America. And hello to everybody in chat and from the UK, from Denmark, from Ireland, from Germany, and I hope that we would get more and more viewers from all over the world, and to start good discussions and to move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Markus, and good morning, David Hildebrand, lurking. We have lurkers from work, or working lurkers, or whatever you want to call you guys. So like Laura Livengood, I know Chad Lupke's does that, and David Hildebrand's here. How many of you are doing that at work right now and listening in? I think that's an awesome thing that you're even able to do, and I am so honored that you would even drop by. On the list, on the card, everybody, if you didn't see it, is go watch We the People. It's in the list. Go watch We the People last night with David Hildebrand. The full interview's there. He was awesome, badass, very excited about helping David beat Dianne Feinstein. And there was even a negative article that we talked about. My computer did a blue screen of death, but it was all the way at the end. We were done anyway, and then we came back on, and we played this great song by Run the Jewels. So watch that. If there's a particular clip that you guys think is good, send me a time mark, because that will help me know where to cut things out. I'd love to help David chop out different clips. And if Darcy, if you're around, you want to cut up a clip, and anybody else who can do that kind of thing, anytime you want to grab our material and chop up a segment, I'm happy to boost your YouTube channel or wherever you put it to help promote these candidates, because it's easier to share, and you guys know this, smaller chunks of information, right? A 2-minute, a 3-minute video where David is talking about something in particular, give it a title, push that out there. That's going to help David grow his campaign and his viewership more than watching this hour-long discussion where people aren't sure what we're talking about any place, right? So if you could help us out with that, that would be great. That's like the biggest piece of the social media engine that we lack, is having enough video editors for all of our candidates in the entire political revolution to chop these things up into segments and really put out contextual information in small enough bites that people who are misinformed will be willing to digest. And that's basically the goal of progressive media right now, or should be anyway. All right, so moving on to that. Phil Britton says, is this nightmare real or a dream? Good question. Lurking and working. There you go. That's what it is, David. It's perfect. It was a great interview last night, Jupiter Judy. It was. Hello, Density. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So, a couple things to talk about. The cover card is clouds. And I did this really because... I use this picture really because I have the most beautiful clouds. I don't know. I've always, since I was a kid and recognized that we had clouds, I've always loved staring up at the sky. And I lived in Colorado, grew up in Colorado, and we had big sky in Colorado, lots of cool clouds and stuff. But I have never seen the diversity and the amazing colors and depth and all sorts of stuff in the clouds that we have here in the Willamette Valley. Not so much up in Milwaukee, Oregon. Down here, it's just so different. I've taken so many pictures of clouds. You're like, what was Earth like back then before they all destroyed it? Well, here's a lot of pictures of clouds from John Ellis. That's basically what you're going to get out of me. But anyway, it's just beautiful. But the clouds also obscure. And they make you wonder what's going on inside or around or behind. And that made me think of really what's going on with our government and everything, is that as we peel back these layers of bullshit, we're not really sure if what we're uncovering is just another layer of bullshit or something important, and that's the whole Russian thing and everything going down with our government and our mainstream media following this path. Not saying that there isn't truths in there. I'm just saying it's not really that important. I don't really care what's going on with Russia. I don't really care in any of it, because that's dirty government that's been doing its thing forever. It's a symptom of a greater problem, and I'd rather focus on the actual problem, right? So, clouds. I think there's a lot of confusion with us as a citizenry today that we're not really sure what to focus on because we're being told so much different information from so many different groups of people, and we don't even know who to trust in those groups of people, and they're all telling us to trust them and not somebody else, which is exactly the chaos that an authoritarian regime wants. Utter chaos. So that you just look to the militarized government to be your protector. That's where we are. Bernie Sanders calling it out as well. You know. Hey, cynical girl. How are you? Good to see you. Metalhead. All right. Top story, if you haven't heard, is nothing to do with Trump. I just want to say it is beautiful, though. Every time the guy tweets, he tweets something so stupid. He's basically saying, yep, I'm under... He basically announced that he was under investigation for obstruction of justice. It's like... It just doesn't get any better than that. I realize we're facing the destruction of the planet, and there are millions around the world dying and suffering right now. But my God, is he funny. He's just funny in his destruction. I don't know what else to call it. So yeah, he admitted that. People pointed that out to him, like, you realize what you're doing here. He doesn't.
But it is very important to him, and
I know.
You see, he asked Comey 3 times if he was investigating against him, you know, and he when Comey said in the hearing that there was not that he confirmed that he told Trump it. Then he tweeted a few minutes later, yeah, he said it. There's no investigation against me. And now Mueller, wow.
I know. It's just, I don't know. If you're a comic, if you're a comedian or if you write comedy script for a living, you can't write this. It doesn't. No. You can't. It's just, you'd be like,
you can write it, but you won't never sell it.
No, because be like, they'd never do that.
Chance. No, not possible.
How stupid. But this,
yes.
Well, and we've got another example of that with the Cutter thing. Just we'll go to that in a minute. You realize he accused them of selling weapons to terrorists. We just showed up with our military down there to say, hey, in a friendly. It's like we're down there doing war things with them, and
Yeah. It's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous.
exactly, Darcy. If the world is going down, at least it will be entertaining. Are you not entertained? Ah! It'll get the best ratings ever. The death of mankind.
Yeah.
Oh right, and he's
Wow.
still tweeting witch hunt. He's insane. He's still tweeting witch hunt
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah. Wow. Witch hunt. This is cool.
Who knows? Who knows where that goes? But that's not the big news. The big news is actually something much more importanter, right? And I'm just going to say it right now. I've been using weird words like that since before Trump made them whatever he did. That's all I'm going to say. Although nobody used bigly before him. Which I saw somebody defend as he was saying big league, which would be all right if he enunciated. Anyway, federal judge rejects Dakota Access Pipeline permits and calls for a do-over. F you, Donald, and your attempt to go around the law and really screw more of the environment. Standing Rock Sioux won a lawsuit, basically, or won a, I don't even know what it was, piece of something led with the judge. Judge basically said, no, these are not legal, and you now get to go back and actually figure out what to do real, and you can't do this. So I don't know when this shuts down the pipeline, or if this shuts down the pipeline, or how this actually goes, or what actually happens from here, because you know that in court, one victory one day, the next day all of a sudden something else happens, you're like, whatever. Or when it's a victory, you never know when that victory actually will have some kind of impact on the, whatever you're looking at. So hopefully this will mean more than, just words. So congratulations for Standing Rock, for the water protectors, and for everybody that fought that battle. More importantly, really sad that we're fighting this battle, that we have to sue, that a sovereign nation that has already been shit on has to sue to keep us, privileged white Americans, from shitting more on them, our federal government. If nothing makes you more angry, it should be that the people representing you, white folks, me, white folks, the people representing me think it's totally okay to do that to other people. And that makes me really angry, enraged. So I'm going to hone that anger, and I'm going to use a word that people don't like. I'm going to use, I needed to find a word that really fit my description of the anger that I feel in a positive way to work politically to make change. All right? And it's a word that people don't like, really. And that is cleanse. I'm going to cleanse my Democratic Party of Oregon of corrupt Democrats, because they shouldn't exist. And the system should be set up within the state of Oregon to prevent them from existing in the first place. And it should be set up so that we can catch them when people become dirty politicians. I don't want any dirty politicians in my government. And we need to set up checks and balances to stop from dirty politicians. So I'm going to clean the Democratic Party of Oregon. Clean. We want a clean environment. I want a clean government. That's the word I want to use. Clean. Maybe that sounds better than cleanse. Whatever. Come from the same derivative. I want to clean up my government, which is the same as saying I want to mount a hostile takeover. I feel a lot of hostility towards my government. That doesn't mean I want to commit acts of violence. I just want to... Anyway, congratulations for the Standing Rock Sioux. Congratulations for the water protectors. Congratulations for the lawyers that seem to be winning the battles. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day, Marcus, where in the United States of America we are winning battles against the federal government with lawyers. Lawyers, yeah. Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Crime scene cleaner. Extract, eradicate. It's a cynical girl. I prefer eradicate, extract via catapult. You want to fling them over, borrow the Mexican wall catapult, and shoot them. Being a janitor is a noble occupation. I actually did some community service as a janitor. So yes, I agree.
Yes.
I agree. We just want to rid ourselves of the toxins. Exactly, it's a cleanse like that, Dennis. Like a cleanse, like in L.A. when they drink lemon juice and cayenne pepper and shit water for days. Yeah, that's it's a cleanse. Yes, that's what we're going for. Isn't that a pretty picture? Just a lot of orange coming out your ass, right? Or the national ass. Where is that anyway? I don't know. Clean equals detox. Exactly, Bev. We need a battering ram. You guys are hilarious. All right. Moving on. Congratulations in a small way, right? Because we still have a big battle to fight with the environment here, and there's more on that. The next, make sure I'm covering everything here. Right, okay, violence in politics. Again, we're going to talk about really quick, you reap what you sow. This is just an article talking about how much more violent things have gotten in the United States of America with regard to politics. I find it really funny. They call it, politics has grown more violent. What would we call this in another country, Marcus? What is this called in another country?
Yeah.
I mean, I love, we're expats, not immigrants, right? And here we don't have, it's not a revolution. It's not civil unrest. We have violence in politics. Right? We have violence everywhere. I don't know. Anyway, what were you saying?
It's yeah. It leaves me really. I told it yesterday. It leaves me helpless here because these are no problems I have to deal with or I have to think about here, and I have no clue what. I know it's completely wrong, but I don't know what to say. How to help? It leaves me literally helpless to see this.
You help, but with your support. Thank you for your national support, Germany.
Yeah, this is the only thing I can offer you guys.
You and Dennis are the official representatives of Germany to the progressive Americans.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here. Any help you can offer would just be an advice. We did that already. Bad idea. Don't try that again. Whatever.
Yeah. This is why I say violence is never a solution. And we came yesterday and before in January we came to the same conclusion. And
yes.
Yeah.
Good one, Barbara. The national ass is definitely the White House right now. It's like a pimple. The point of this article, and just to even add more creepy to this is the guy that did the shooting yesterday. All right. He looks like a guy I used to get drunk with 20, 30 years ago. That's really same glasses and everything. Just it really, really freaked me out when I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, that's LD. But it wouldn't be LD because LD's definitely dead by now because he was a hardcore alcoholic. The point here isn't, I just want to, we are, America right now is teetering on a line between political revolution that is attempting to remain nonviolent and basically a revolution. Basically what we see in other countries, regime change. We're in the process of deciding how we want that regime change to go about. The only thing that the federal government doesn't understand is who the rest of America considers to be the regime. Because they're still trying to pit left versus right, and some of them are triangulating and say, no, it's good left and good right versus evil Trump and his company, right? And really, it's the 99% against the entire federal government and those within it that function as the establishment, which includes the vast majority of those people. It's a regime. It's a regime that we just realized existed. And we're in the process of regime change, and we're trying to figure out how that regime change is going to go about. And you better believe it will contain more violence because the regime enacts violence. Violence begets violence. I'm not saying that because they will do something, we will do something. What I'm saying is that you reap what you sow. And there are so many articles out today talking about that. The United States of America is a violent nation. They've promoted violence. They sell violence. Ratings get violence. It's all about violence. And to wonder why people are coming out of the woodwork now, being violent and shooting other people, well, what's funny is that we've been shooting each other for quite some time, and the incidents of mass shootings have gone through the roof this last year. But remember, Marcus, we were talking yesterday about how things seem to have they change your perspective when they happen closer to home, right?
Yes.
When I'm affected directly by a shooting, or when I feel that my life could be affected by something all of a sudden, instead of it's over in Germany, right? Like the terrorism you guys have experienced in the UK, or not the UK, in Europe in general, by far exceeds anything that has happened in the United States. You guys have been really getting bombed and blown up and stuff like that by a bunch of people. And America's kind of like been, oh, we send our wishes and love, but we don't really think about it until all of a sudden people start getting shot all over the place here, you know.
I would like to disagree here. It's a matter of perception, you know. We are talking about terrorists, and we are thinking about Islamic terrorists who blow up stuff and kill people. But what about those, I would call them terrorists too, who are on the way as racist and are killing other people for racial reasons, and or mass shootings because they have another skin tone. And
I didn't disagree with that. I never said the word Islamic. I said just mass shootings.
No. This is what I interpret, and I think you have your kind of terrorism, and we inherited our kind of terrorism. You know, you build your own terrorists. You know?
we built your terrorists. You realize that, right? We built your terrorists too.
Building your own terrorists means these are people from your country.
Right. I mean, the majority of our terrorists, and we know this, 73% or more of the terrorism that's happened in the United States since 9/11 has been white terrorism. Has not been, and I classify it as white because it's an important point. They weren't Islamic radicals. They weren't Muslims, right?
This is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, and that's the United States of America, absolutely, because it's easier for the Islamic radicals that we have created and pissed off to attack you guys. That's truly what it is. It's easier for them to attack you guys, not because of defenses, just because they don't have to come across the ocean. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's logic that those refugees would come to Europe, and because they don't have a chance to come to America, and of course we inherit the refugees from the massive crisis caused in the Middle East, and we don't have to argue about who caused all this mess mainly there, and and this is why I'm reasoning when. For example, when Trump accuses us for not spending enough for military, I say if you count in what we have to pay, what we have to invest into refugees and housing and schooling, etc., and jobs, then we are over the 2% of our GDP, 2% of our GDP, and he should shut the fuck up.
I know you go on this all the time. You talk about that all the time. I wouldn't worry. You have to deal with your problems a different way. You're never going to deal with your problems by boosting your military like Trump says. That's not going to fix the Islamic radicals or whoever the fuck is blowing shit up over there. It's not going to stop that.
It makes no sense.
No, it makes no sense.
Where should we store all this stuff? What he wants to see here.
Dennis, John, please, you make too much sense. I'm sorry. Americans don't generally do that, but I'm sorry. Thank you. By the way, Jupiter Judy says, just now 10 people hurt in Manhattan as car jumps curb. Make sure that's not from a couple weeks ago. Is this a whole nother car that's jumped a curb? Because we already had one of those. Is this becoming a new thing in Manhattan? Please, I hope not. But I just think about this: the stress level of the citizenship. Markus has talked about it. The stress level of us. This understand what we are experiencing now, and I want everybody to kind of take this to heart. This stress, this fear. It's only just started. We're not being shot at. We don't have mortars raining down from us from the sky. We don't have white phosphorus hitting our hospitals. We don't have Moabs being dropped and the sound reverberating for miles. We don't have that kind of fear yet, but we're on our way. We're on our way to the kind of fear that the UK experiences more often than we do, which is, holy shit, a bomb could go off over there, over there, over there. We're there, but we're not quite to that crisis. Yes, Markus?
I think the psychological pressure on you did not start with Trump.
Oh no!
It started decades ago. It started with working conditions. It started with destabilizing unions. It started with spending, with giving the money to the top, and letting others compete for peanuts. And this puts pressure on you. It is now a question of the level or of the degree of the pressure, and this has very much increased in my consideration over the last half a year. And
sure,
I said it yesterday. For me, it is hard to see how you guys must feel, because I'm not confronted with it on a daily basis, 24 hours a day, and it must be terrible for you. And this is no excuse for overreactions. What we saw yesterday about this crazy guy, but I think there is also a psychological pressure on you which should not be underestimated. You know?
Right. No, it's not. No, that's what I'm saying. Is it's getting worse, and it's the equivalent of wartime for us. For those of us who have never experienced it before, right? I have no idea what that stress level's like. Waking up every day and going, shit, we're in the same place. Nothing's changed. More danger, more scare, right? What has idiot tweeted lately? It's frightening. It's frightening, and that's, I think that's, as we get more scared, we are apt to do more risky and more erratic things, because that's what scared people do when they don't know where to go or who to trust. We don't know that right now. And I'm reading from Jupiter that it was a new incident, and so that's 9 people were injured Thursday when a car jumped a curb in the Garment District, New York City. Darcy says the pressure started on the day the U.S. dropped a bomb on Japan and secretly declared war on communism. Yeah, maybe so. We could go back as far as we want. Right now, this level of pressure that we're feeling is the most present for us, right? I'm talking about where we're at in this moment of fear, and it's a new level for me. It's we can say that the fear has been there the whole time, but we're awake to it. That's the difference. That's what makes it so much more We're not denying it anymore, or many of us are not denying it anymore. When you stop denying it and you wake up to it in your face every day, you're like, Jesus, can I go back to watching The Voice? I want to watch The Voice. I want to see some of that good entertainment. And we have to do that. We have to go back to those things to give our brain. That's why I stare at the sky. Have to find something. Because shit like this, I mean, it's one thing to read that, here's another person that died in ICE custody that shouldn't even be in ICE custody. This person had intestinal bleeding. Apparently, a lot of people die in ICE custody, or of those that do, a lot of them die in ICE custody just because they have pre-existing conditions that they can't get taken care of because they're in a fucking cell. Other people die in ICE custody because ICE doesn't take care of human beings. They don't even treat these people like human beings. They don't think they're equal to them in terms of human beings. To me, thinking about ICE and thinking about how I need to eradicate, eliminate, remove, cleanse any human body that has decided wearing an ICE badge and performing ICE duties is even human. I don't even know how to express the violence I feel towards those human beings that would do this to other human beings, which makes me a fucking hypocrite. So I don't know what to do with ICE people. I don't know how we get rid of this kind of hateful group that shouldn't even exist. Other than to replace the people at the top with good people who recognize that ICE is disgusting. It's dealing with that anger when you recognize something is wrong. That's fucking wrong. When you have that kind of anger inside of you, you have to redirect it to something better than what they do. That's been the loop we've been on for so long. It's so hard to get off that rat wheel. Oh, so hard. PayPal knows how to help. Thank you, PayPal. They block donations to far-right campaign hampering migrant rescue efforts in the Mediterranean. Because controlling the flow of money to asshole organizations is one way of stopping them from doing their work. Because wars and shit like that, that takes money. So thank you, PayPal. We need other money controllers to act like that. Imagine if banks actually didn't hold funds for all of the terrorist organizations and other groups. What would we do with our money, United States of America? This was the piece on Trump that just so you know that there is a special counsel investigating Donald Trump. It won't matter. Don't get your hopes up. Don't get excited. Don't think that this is going to go anywhere. It will not. Don't go there. Like The Voice, I think of this whole thing as a nice little fantasy show. I want it to go somewhere. It's not gonna, but it's nice to look at. It's like watching what?
What would happen? Maybe Mueller finds out something, and he says he would suggest that there would be undertaken steps against Trump. Then all this would go to the Department of Justice, right?
Maybe, but he can control areas of that. I mean, it would go to the department, but we don't
exactly
right.
And there it ends in the end, and there it's game over. But when it reaches Department of Justice, in my opinion, it has no chance to go further.
Right. Because Sessions.
Yes.
Anyway, I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're gonna run on this until we're so confused and we don't really care anymore, and then they're gonna move on. And that's what they do. It's what they do. There are so many parallels for me, thinking back to the Iran-Contra affair. I mean, there's a video clip of Jeff Sessions going, I don't recall. I don't recall. I don't recall. And I remember another guy, an actor even. I don't recall. Well, I don't recall. 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 I mean, you could get those two together and do a fucking mashup. It would be a great video hit. Because Ronnie Reagan said the same bullshit. And they tossed a dude under the bus. And maybe they'll toss Sessions under the bus or somebody else under the bus. But it's not going to stop the war machine. It's just another show. It's just another show. Yeah. This is the funny... I mean... U.S. warships arrive in Qatar for drills days after Trump slams Doha. I don't even know what that is. Is that the... As a funder of terrorism. Is that their president? Must be their president. Look at that Navy ship. Isn't that cool looking? Such a cool ship. All our dollars go to that shit. I wonder if that could provide me health care. I bet they have good health care on that ship. Doctors and nurses and all sorts of stuff. And why don't naval... Why don't they? If the military's there and you got all these assets, why don't they offer their health care to everybody else? No. What are they doing when they're in times of peace? Just curious. There are resources, right? Belongs to us, right? Somewhere in there. This is cool. This is really cool. Thank you. Thank you, Jupiter. Ronnie's easy to do, though. He is. The problem is you go from Ronnie to Jimmy, and you got to get the Georgia in there, and then you end up really close to Bill, and then and you can't. That's the problem, is they're too close together in a lot of ways. Anyway, this is great. There's a new way to make Walmart pay for food stamps employees rely on. Not that this is going to pass anything in the federal government, but it's a nice idea. This is new freshman California Democratic Rep. Ro Khanna and 9 House co-sponsors are introducing legislation to put an end to the free ride. It's basically a way to make Walmart pay for the fact that it pays its employers low wages. Those employees pays its employees really low wages. Those employees go get food stamps and come back to Walmart and use their food stamps at fucking Walmart. And Walmart makes a shit ton of money off the food stamps that its employees have to use because it won't pay its employees enough fucking money or provide them with good benefits. As taxpayers, we're paying double. We're subsidizing Walmart and we're subsidizing fucking food stamps for these people that should just have a real fucking wage. So this Corporate Responsibility and Taxpayer Protection Act would levy a fee equivalent to the public assistance that a company's employees are eligible to receive, with the intent to incentivize business to pay their employees enough so they don't need public fucking assistance. What a goddamn concept. And here's my statement to any business, big or small, that says you can't pay your employees a real wage and provide benefits, then you don't deserve fucking employees. You're not that good at business. You must need to downsize and shut the fuck up. Your business will never, ever, 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 ever matter more than any human life ever. It's a fucking business. Fuck you. Just my answer to the business community when I run for politics, run for some office somewhere, and they say, how do you support local business? There's my answer. I support your business until your business infringes on any human being ever in any way, and then fuck your business. Okay? If you can't pay your employees a decent wage, you don't get to have employees. I know. I was a small business owner. It sucked. It was hard. And I tried really hard to have employees and pay good wages. At some point, I realized I wasn't making enough money to do that. So I had to tell my employee, I need you to go find a new job because I can't pay you a real wage. That's the choice you have to make. Not, I'm going to cut your wage, but if you want to stay here, fuck you. Or, I'm never going to offer you a real wage. I hope somebody comes around and is desperate enough to take this job. Right? Businesses need to have integrity. And business owners that don't have integrity shouldn't be in business. End of story. End of story. Don't give a shit about your business if you don't give a shit about people. People first. Anyway. I know I won't get a lot of support from business unions. It's all right. The thing is, there are businesses out there that believe this. There are businesses out there, and there are organizations and coalitions of businesses that agree, yes, we need to give a shit about our employees. Look at what it does when you actually do that. It's an amazing concept of investing in your employees, like investing in your citizenry. Investing in your democracy.
We shouldn't.
What?
And I think we shouldn't pick too much on the small and middle businesses. But if you look at what you said at Walmart, it's simply unbelievable that they get away with that. That the public hand has to pay that their employers can survive. It is. There must happen something about it, a general boycott of Walmart stuff or something like this.
Well,
because then they start to move. I can guarantee this. We saw this once how long is it ago when the oil platform Brent Spar exploded, and it was, who was the owner? Was it Texaco? I don't know. It was Texaco or someone or BP. There were a large boycott in complete Europe, and it was about the demontage of the Brent Star platform. They wanted to blow it and to sink it down into the ocean, and all others said, no, you got your gains from the platform, and you have to deconstruct it and to do a correct job with the platform. And there was massive protests. The people here in Germany, especially, they boycotted the gasoline stations from them, and it took them 1 week, and they said, okay, we will do everything what you want.
Right. No, I hear what you're saying, and that's a great story, and it works sometimes with very small installations and small things like that. You've got to understand the paradigm in the United States of America. You've got people who can barely afford anything. They go to Walmart because Walmart has the lowest prices because Walmart makes the biggest profit margin. So the poor shop at Walmart because Walmart's where you can buy things for really fucking cheap. So there's a vicious cycle there.
There is no competition to Walmart anymore.
There is competition to Walmart, but Walmart is huge, and Walmart is one place to shop. And I mean, it's built its popularity over decades of doing what it does. It serves the most ginormous of disconnected, disenfranchised Americans, and you know they're not even in a position to hear the argument against Walmart. They're like, my brother works at Walmart. I shop at Walmart. My sister's father is a greeter at Walmart, and I use my food stamps at Walmart. Don't you fucking tell me Walmart's bad because Walmart keeps my family running.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean, it's the same as the fucking coal mines or anything else. That paradigm is like, no. They just won't get out of that. It's the same cycle that we have with violence. No, get out, you know.
I see, yeah.
You know, that's why it's so hard to beat. And why you can look over from Germany and be like, what are you doing? When, you know, and I agree. You know, what do we do? Anyway, not small towns or small place. What are you guys talking about? It's different here. Rural towns are. I will say that rural America is different, and I learned that in my my arm insurance thing. So I should give you an update on that, everybody. By the way, if you want an alternative to Walmart, Costco is actually a better option. The owner of Costco is a good person, a good business owner who pays his employees a decent wage and believes in co-ownership and has done a lot of things for the environment and other things. And you guys can get granular and nitpick if you want. But I shop at Costco when I want to shop at a big store like that for things, and I like it. I would never go back into a Walmart. But yeah, that. Winco Foods is an employee-owned company. A lot of employee-owned companies is a great way to go. Right, Fred Meyer is local to here, although they're now connected with Kroger, but both are kind of family-owned companies. So you can find stuff, right? It's just you got to do your research, you got to know, right? And it's got to set right with you. I'd love to send a big message to Walmart, whether it's through legislation that'll never pass, or us just not buying their shit, which is really what we need to do. You know, that's really what it needs to be. So. I think I left something on in there that's being loud and I forgot to turn it off and it's bugging me. I turn off like 90 things before we start the show in the grow room because the grow room's behind me. Really dumb place to put it with the studio that needs quiet, but you know, whatever. Anyway, yes, Costco is better with their employees. Costco carries a very huge variety. Yeah, Costco carries organic foods. They're locally sourcing foods. That's the other thing, right? Costco locally sources foods. My Safeway does too. I found that rural places like that do a better job at getting foods from farms and stuff, but you're still going to be better off going to the farmer's market, right? You'll always be better off going to the farmer's market. Let me tell you my interesting update on the arm. So you all are really smart, and I got many emails and comments and things about what it could be, what's going on with my arm, and you were very right. So I don't actually have carpal tunnel. That would be different symptoms. I have tennis elbow for one piece of the arm. And I like the term that they actually use. This is my chart that I got to take home, modern. And it says lateral epicondylitis of right elbow. That sounds way worse than tennis elbow because I don't even play tennis. And it was called tennis elbow in the 80s or whatnot, or for a long time. And the guy told me that this is actually really common among IT workers and people that work on computers all the time. So why are we calling it tennis elbow today when there's way more IT people than there are tennis people? It should be IT elbow. And I suggest we make an update. All right? So there. Anyway, the fun part is that this visit cost me a $50 deposit, and then I'm going to get billed for an unknown amount. She said, our visits start at $200. And I said, well, do you know how much mine was for having the guy look at my arm and then tell me I needed to go to a sports medicine specialist to have them look at my arm? She said, no, but it will be at least $200. So I will be getting a bill for the remainder, and I have no idea what that will be. So that's part one. That was fun. I called the sports medicine place. This is the sports medicine place for OSU. Not that they do the work for OSU College or their football people, but it's on the OSU campus. It's part of this Samaritan thing. I called the woman, and here's the call went about like this. Hello. Hi. I need to make an appointment. I have a referral from the Albany Samaritan Clinic to see a Dr. Lenhoff. Okay, what's your name? I didn't put any. So she finds me in the system. I'm in their system already, which is good. And she says, okay, and what's your insurance? I don't have any. Okay, so there's no insurance provider? No, I don't have. Okay, so you're gonna be a self-pay? Yeah, I'm gonna pay self. Hold on 1 minute. There's a hold music. Hello? Yeah. Okay, self-pay. Oh, okay. Okay, well, we have an appointment tomorrow at 1:30, and we don't have Dr. Lenhoff available, but just come in at 1:30. We have your chart, and it's for your arm. Yeah. Okay, thank you. That was my conversation. So today at 1:30, I'm going to go in and find out if this was a $200 visit to be forwarded on to the sports visit. I guarantee you it's going to be more expensive. And then my understanding is that what I have is, so tennis elbow is one thing that I have. The other thing I have is a torn rotator cuff. You guys were all right on that. But he doesn't think there's like 4 different muscles in there that it can be torn, and he says it's not the primary one, it's one back here, and he says he thinks that's what it is, but they have to do an ultrasound to find out how torn it is and to make sure he's not wrong about anything in there, and that will determine whether I can do physical therapy and get this worked out over how long that's going to take, which I would have to pay the sports medicine people to do, or surgery, which will cost, probably add another 0 to whatever the therapy would cost, right? So I will let you know. This will be fun to find out costs and see what it's like to go through sports medicine doctor as a self-pay, which apparently shocked the shit out of the nurse who answered the phone, wherever she was. Yeah, Andreas, $200. Cynical girl, your left arm is attached with a screw. Wow. Geez. One? Just one? I mean, really, I'm asking, just one? Anyway.
I don't hope so.
Oh, you guys don't say, no, listen, that's not a, Jilly Love, thank you very much. This was not a plea for money. Please do not mistake my story for that's not, but I thank you very much. I appreciate that. But let's not, I am not starting a GoFundMe for John's arm. Okay, there are people who don't even have arms. There are people who are there are people dying because their GoFundMes aren't getting met. That's insane. Right? We have money. I just don't know how much because we got to find out. That's the thing. The whole thing, the point of all this is that it comes down to money. What is my arm worth to me? Right? That's what it comes down to. What is my arm worth to me, and how much are Lori and I willing to spend to make my arm feel better? That's it. My arm now becomes I become a dollar sign. I mean, I've always been a dollar sign in the eyes of America, but that's what my life is reduced to, is a dollar amount. You know, in terms of productivity. I need to get my hustle on. The irony of this, not irony, it's not irony, not using the appropriate word of irony at all. The appropriate use, to be like the second literal in this irony, this is the Alanis Morissette irony, would be that I watched, I always wanted to be like the $6 Million Man. I loved that show as a kid, right? Lee Majors. And so to have a bionic arm would be great. I know we're nowhere near that, but my God, that would be awesome. To have a bionic arm. So cool. Do you think, Marcus? there's some. I ran a $6 Million Man clip a long time ago, and it totally got me slammed in a heartbeat. And I forget why we ran it, but it was so pertinent to what was going on. It was hilarious. Anyway.
It came to Germany in the early '80s on the new built private TV stations, and I guess I was too old for this. And, Lee Majors wasn't a good actor, and the complete show was incredibly stupid, in my opinion.
No, listen, this is totally not on topic at all. First of all, I love it. We can rebuild him. We have the technology. And Dennis, what's a crime? Thank you, Catherine W. I used to, for one Christmas, I still have a picture of this. I got to find it. I got they used to sell the $6 Million Man space capsule. It was like this big. It was huge. It was a big rocket, and then you had the doll, the Lee Majors $6 Million Man doll, and it went inside the rocket, and you just went all over the place. I had that thing. It was the most awesome toy ever. This was back when the space program was still actually considered important. It was so cool. It was awesome. I'm the $27 man. Thank you, Jillian. That would be Bernie Sanders, actually.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, that is hilarious. Density says, after 16 shoulder separations, I had to put a screw in my arm to keep it in place. Now I cannot turn my hand flat, so I drop change to... Wow, geez. I don't... That's... Joyce says, do it yourself? What? Fix my torn rotator cuff? Or put a screw in my arm? I'm willing to try anything. I can put up with some pain, but you let me know what we're doing. Right, German, exactly. Yes, okay. Dennis, that's it. Yeah, it is a crime. The fact that I have to think. The thing is I'm joking about this right now because I'm a privileged white guy who can put up with the pain and get really high if it gets too much, and I can, I've got options still. But there are millions of Americans that don't. There are millions of Americans that don't even have the money to go be seen, or don't even have access to the internet to find out their own. Maybe do their own research on their own. This is what's ridiculous. It's what ridiculous. It's our money being spent not on us, and I'm tired of that. If we're gonna have all this millions of dollars, I want it spent on us. All right, we talked about PayPal. We talked about the bullshit show. Whoops, Trump and his. I don't even know what he's doing there, admitting to his own stuff. The next thing, though, this is funny. This is good. Things are getting interesting. I don't call it interesting. I would really like to know the equivalency of this stuff. I'm guessing it happened a lot, too, in the past when shit was all messed up with politics. Anyway, the Donald and I are winning. The Australian PM is roasting. There's an audio of him roasting Donald Trump. We're going to play this clip because this is just too fun. You've got other world leaders getting busted, making fun of our quote-unquote leader. And the best part about it is this would never have happened without social media. The fact that we can leak this stuff out and spread it so fast on the internet that no government agency can do anything to stop it. That may be the most beautiful aspect of the entire political revolution. But we're just going to play this clip right here.
Ever think of Malcolm Turnbull as a comedian? Well, he tried his hand at it last night, and the butt of his best jokes was none other than Donald Trump. Mr Turnbull was in full-on crawling mode when he met the US President in New York last month, but it was different when politicians and the media got together at Canberra's midwinter ball. The Prime Minister not only made fun of the President, he mimicked him, even on the subject of that New York meeting.
It was beautiful. It was the most beautiful, putting me at ease ever.
The PM presumably thought Mr Trump would never find out because journalists attending the ball are supposed to agree not to report what happens. But I don't go to the ball, and an audio tape has just happened to leak. Plus a sample was posted on Instagram. So here's the PM talking about himself, the Prez, and opinion polls.
That Donald and I, we are winning and winning in the polls. We are winning so much. We are winning like we have never won before. We are winning in the polls. We are. Not the fake polls. Not the fake polls. They're the ones we're not winning in. We're winning in the real polls. You know, the online polls. They are so easy to win. Did you know that? I know that. Did you know that? I kind of know that. I know that. They are so easy to win. I have this Russian guy. Believe me, it's true. It is true.
I'm not sure that Donald would be all that amused by that reference to a Russian guy. Vladimir Putin might be, though.
So I don't even know anything about the Australian PM. Is he a dick like Trump? Is he a good guy? Anybody know? What's your opinion? You know him, Marcus?
I don't know the actual Australian government. I know that they had a very conservative government in the past. I don't know. The only thing I know, what we all know, is that that Trump, that the Australians were the first target of Trump when he came into office.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that he wanted to go to war with Australia, and I was like, what? Then I do remember that he just, we don't know why he picked on them first. It was just A for Australia. A, fuck you. I don't know. I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or not. And this guy sounds like a reporter for TMZ. I don't know what show he's on, but he sounds like a really trashy reporter. I don't know anything about this guy in Australia reporting. I just thought that's kind of funny that we have other heads of state making fun of our head of state. It's just kind of silly. Boys being boys.
I think it is already an international contest somehow.
Yes.
We will see. I guess we will see much more of this.
Right, and as Ashley says, he was able to laugh at himself. I think that's when he says we're at the top of polls. My guess is the Australian PM is not doing so well either. And that's the Bill show with Randy? Is that what that is? Or no? No, you're talking about a different show at all. Never mind. I'm totally off on a different thing reading your guys' comments. Ignore me. And by the way, I saw your comment that I am your action figure. That's interesting. Broken in many places. What was the question? Somebody said there was a question for me in the audience. I missed the question. Can you post the question again so I can see it? Because I don't know where to go. Michael Stapleton, what's the question? Please. And thank you so much. Stupid Trump statement bingo. Yes, Melissa, that would be the... It's like, what has he done today? But again, distraction, right? Fun distraction, but distraction from impending planet doom. Right? We talked about Walmart food stamps. Is Justin Bryce in the house? Justin Bryce, the only person I know connected to the forestry industry. Actually, there's a couple people that I don't know if they're in the audience. This is weird. I bring this up because what I'm bringing up, we're talking about forestry and some things going on in Oregon with regard to pesticides being sprayed in the air and forestry and farming and this and that and the other in Oregon's Lane County. And I'm trying to learn more about... Here's the point of this article isn't so much... I mean, it definitely is important. It's not as much about... Here's what it is. I don't have an opinion on this. Here's my point. When I'm ignorant about this subject, meets critical thinking, I recognize I'm ignorant about this subject. What happens is, hopefully, education. I don't really know enough about pesticide spraying in forests or whatever they're talking about And this article makes it seem, in the wording, like there are valid things to be heard on both sides. Not being an expert in that, I am going to go research and become more informed before I start spouting an opinion. I wouldn't have done that had I not actually read through the article. Because based on the headline and based on what comes after this is basically saying there's a difference between rural farmers, loggers, forestry folks, and urban people. Urban folks just want no pesticides everywhere. Farmers and rural folks understand that you have to use some pesticides somewhere, as do people in forestry. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's a spun narrative. My instinct is bullshit, but I don't know. So before I make an uninformed opinion, or form one, I'm going to go learn something. And then I'm going to form an opinion. And even then I'm going to leave it open because I really don't know anything about this, right? So there it is. And I want to say that's how we need to treat all of these things. When we started the Bernie Sanders, Bernie 2016 TV, when I started that, I really didn't understand at all how independent media functioned versus mainstream media. I didn't understand how live events worked in terms of the broadcast industry, the differences between what a mainstream media channel would need to do live versus what I need to do live. And Scott, I learned really fast though, and what I learned was to stop talking like I knew what the fuck I was talking about because I found out really quick I didn't. And so BTV got running faster because those of us who were in it at the ground level at the beginning recognized that we all needed to learn how to do this the way the big boys were doing it. I say big boys in figurative. If we were going to do it at all, because we had to compete. That's where LiveU came in. So it's a great opportunity. The reason I'm saying all this is a great opportunity for us as American citizens to put our assumptions aside and learn how our government works or should work, and then realize that once we have a grasp on the instruction manual, we can rewrite the manual. We can change the machine, we can rewrite the manual. This machine is modular. Get that? It's modular. All right. And thank you guys, I appreciate it. Poodle Susan says, don't get sprayed, John, don't let them spray you. No. Because like, I'm with you there. My mom told stories about running behind the DDT truck in Jersey, right? So I'm not really a big fan of spraying of anything. And so, that's why I reached out to Justin Bryce because, and right, Ashley Terry saying pesticides don't have to be a chemical. Neem oil, right? I want to learn more. I want to know what they're doing before I put any of my political power behind any part of that issue, right? And the other point I make on this is to all politicians. They need to recognize that because they get appointed to a position, they don't automatically know everything about whatever the fuck it is. And that I expect my politicians to educate themselves. And I think it's up to us to educate them. And that's why I think having virtual town halls, right? I think it's a brilliant idea where we learn something from somebody, like an educational thing. I'm working on with the Lynn County Democrats on this. I'm so excited. I talked to Nancy yesterday about this, about where we could eventually see this go, and how we could, and having the beginning of the monthly meetings be a learning session. We book a person to talk about whatever it is so we can teach each other about government, about this, about that, whatever it is, aspect of our life, our civilization together. And then we set to the order of business. Every town hall, every party, every political group needs to have that learning session and then move into business. It should be a model for everything we do. Anyway. Yeah, diatomaceous earth works in some cases. Yeah, you guys talk about yeah, exactly. At-home activism. We need to learn how to say I don't know. Isn't that Plato, Socrates, any of the pseudo-intellectuals? Ashley, one of those big Jesus from back then in the ancient times, said something like that. greatest thing you can say is, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, moving on to importanter stuff. They finally charged 5 officials with manslaughter for the Flint water crisis. Don't know where this goes other than to say, and this is really all I want to say about this, thank you, Jordan Sheraton, and other independent media individuals and celebrities and those who are progressives who actually stayed on the story and continue to stay on the story, like Jordan Sheraton and other individuals, because this is what happened. You can't just let the story die. It's not done in Flint. They've got a long way to go. People still suffering. And it needs to continue to be brought to our attention. Our mainstream news cycle is bring it up in the 48-hour, and unless things keep happening, push it out of the way for the next 48-hour cycle. Talk about puppies, talk about the Dow and the show. Right? That's not serving the American public. This issue needs to be brought up. Flint needs to be talked about regularly, weekly, right? Until it's resolved, till we see the resolution. No, anyway, that's where they're at. They actually charged some people. Amazing. Who would have thought? There you go. Socrates. All I know is I know nothing. The great Socrates. Thank you. Whoa. It's still his best movie ever. His best acting ever, Marcus. You know what I'm talking about?
No clue. We are talking about Socrates, right?
Well, we're talking about Socrates, unless you're talking about Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure, and then we're talking about the great Socrates.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Socky.
And I may think Keanu Reeves is really bizarre and strange today, but I will always remember him as Bill or Ted, whichever one he was. Ted. He was Ted. Ted Theodore Logan. Whoa.
I don't know which one he was.
He was Ted. Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan. Those were the good days. I grew up in those days. Unawake. America was wonderful. We had good movies. God damn it, what happened to those times? Shit.
Yeah, it was fun living in America, right?
Yeah, living in America. Ooh, it's a hint to the song, Marcus. Hi.
Yeah.
Exactly. Angry Cascadian Socrates. Somebody pointed this out to me the other day. You realize Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure, just Excellent Adventure, is really a Doctor Who episode. Think about that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Think about the parallels.
It is. You know that you mentioned it. Yes, it is.
All right. On to more important stuff. We mentioned this before. I just wanted to pull up again because this is huge. Nevada may become the first state to offer Medicare to all, regardless of income. That's pretty huge. You go, Nevada. You show us that you're not all conservative over there in Nevada. On the other hand, so people have been talking about The Handmaid's Tale, and I knew it was political. Obviously, it's a book. It's a dystopian world where women are basically baby incubators. That's all they do. And wow, talk about a Republican wet dream, right? Just that's literally what a lot of, to me, in my opinion, that's what you think this is what these Republicans want, these backwards thinking people. And so we're going to watch this because this is interesting what happened here. Activists dressed in handmade costumes challenged lawmakers regulating women's reproductive rights. They walked into a hearing on this because, it's a bunch of men, no women, trying to decide what women can't do with women's bodies. They did this to protest an Ohio anti-abortion bill.
You had this line of handmaids, and then you had the 2 senators essentially saying, we can't trust these women with their own personal medical decisions. Essentially, their worth is their womb. And what we're trying to do is put a mirror in front of the legislators. This is what will happen. Most people don't have $500. Folks who have to pull money together or take time off of work, find childcare, that's who it mostly affects. When women are just doing what's best for themselves, their family, their future family, it's really none of their business.
Pretty scary.
Yes.
It's the penis first thing has got to end. It's just we're not gonna fix it until we put an equal amount of women and more in government, and there's no way we can do that without us doing that work. How many women are running for office? Hello, let's get you out there. You already have an advantage. You already have an advantage. Right there. Let's work with it. If men were having babies, they'd drive through abortion. Oh my gosh, no kidding. I can't even. Could you imagine? Yeah. There's a reason men don't have babies.
And the completely estranging thing about this, they are so worried, so fixated on abortion rights. If it is so, then they should also be so fixated what happens after birth. They should give the kids an option to get to school, to get a good education, to get a good meal in school, and all this stuff a kid would need.
Yep.
They just don't give it. They just don't give it. So fuck them.
Yeah.
They are not the ones to decide.
Yeah, it's the great hypocrisy. One of the many hypocrisies. Right. And I'm no fan of Kasich either. I'm not. I don't ever understood why people thought he was some kind of a compromise or some kind of a whatever. Melissa and Man in the High Castle. Wow, that I can't watch that show. Started watching the show and I said this is too close to real. Too depressing. Can't watch it. I have no idea where they've taken it. Maybe it's doing good, but I just couldn't watch that show. Freaked me out. Having men decide these issues for women is like having David Duke as a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. Yes, agreed. It's as contrary as fucking for virginity. It absolutely is. As having men who have no idea, no right at all to be making these decisions. It should form could you imagine a group of women with that kind of power making decisions about men's dicks? Could you imagine that? Wow. We could make some interesting laws that way. I mean, they're trying to make masturbation, illegal unless, your doctor says it's okay or you tell your wife or somebody else in that one state. I thought that was great.
John.
What?
Your question is making me nervous.
What? Is it not? And did I miss the question? Did I still miss the question? Because I never did see the question.
I watched. I didn't saw a question coming from Michael Stapleton.
Oh, okay. Ninetail says it's worth the struggle. Just watch it. I'll be honest. I don't watch depressing things on TV today because I am inundated with them in the news. So when I go watch TV, I know you're saying it's worth the struggle. Just watch it. I can't watch the struggle. Like we got one. I see a video on Yemen. I go, that's enough struggle for me today. I can't deal with a fake one. I watch TV that makes me happy. I really do. I watch TV for antidepressant values and escape values. What?
Then you should watch Designated Survivor.
I know. My wife has a long list of the shows we've selected. That's it. I'm just like, I don't care, whatever. I don't even keep track anymore. I don't have any time. Chastity belts for men. Oh, good God. Yeah, that would be. It's funny. It's funny you say that because when you think historically back in time, women got the chastity belt. Men got the cod piece. You know what cod piece is? You should look that up someday. Talk about crazy ass fashion for your penis. That was one of the original penis extensions. Look at my cod piece. Look those up. Cod pieces and pantaloons. You guys will love this. Just fun fashion from Middle Ages white men. Oh my gosh.
What the ties are coming from this?
The ties?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, the tie is a phallus symbol.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah, the tie. The tie. You're absolutely right. Look at Trump's long red tie. Long and huge. Anyway, here. Just more White House shittery. They're using some really, really extreme, or attempting to use some really extreme legal thing to end the lawsuit that children have undertaken on behalf of themselves and a habitable planet. You know things are wrong when the federal government is challenging children who have filed suit against said government because that government is destroying the child's planet, and the government is using every dirty trick in the legal book to end the lawsuit so that they can continue to destroy that child's planet. I don't know how much more evil it gets. I just don't. But I wish this lawsuit everything, and I think we should support it and do everything we can, because I hope to God the kids win. Here we get to another point of justice. There is no justice for people that have raped the planet for decades. You name it. Please, somebody name me. Oh, I'm glad you snorted, Bev. I'm glad you laughed and snorted. Good for you. Name me a justice. Please, somebody list me something that you think would be appropriate for Rex Tillerson, for the CEOs of Exxon, for the people that have destroyed the Great Barrier Reef. Tell me what that is. For the people who have caused the droughts in Yemen and Sudan and all these other places. What is there? How do we serve justice there? I don't see any. I don't. I see creating a habitable planet and ridding ourselves of those people. That's what I see. Cleansing. Clean planet means they're gone. And I'll leave it at that. Here, this is one of the effects of not just climate change, but regime change that we bring about as the destroyers of this planet Earth, or the primary destroyers of planet Earth. Yemen.
Cholera is killing one person every hour in Yemen, and that's because the people there don't have clean water. Yemen's cholera crisis is a direct humanitarian consequence of a war that broke out 2 years ago. U.S.-backed Saudi-led forces have waged an air and ground war against Houthi rebel fighters. The rebels ousted the internationally recognized government in 2015 and have received support from Iran. This conflict has already claimed 10,000 lives and displaced millions more. Yemen was already the Arab world's poorest country before the war started. But now, its civilians are devastated, suffering a famine that has left millions malnourished and vulnerable to disease. The war has also destroyed much of the sanitation and clean water infrastructure, and it shut down more than half of Yemen's hospitals. With a lack of clean water and access to medical care, cholera is now spreading like wildfire. There have been more than 100,000 cases and nearly 1,000 people have died so far. Cholera is a waterborne illness, and it's often spread through drinking water that's been contaminated with fecal matter. A mild case can be easily treated by replacing lost fluids and electrolytes with a simple hydration solution. If the case is severe, it may require an IV and antibiotics. Cholera can kill half the people it infects, but with treatment, 99% of people survive. And we've seen the toll cholera can take on a country. In 2010, Haiti was reintroduced to the disease when infected UN peacekeepers arrived after a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck the country. After taking responsibility for the outbreak, the United Nations is still struggling to come up with the funds needed to provide clean water to the Haitian people. And as of February 2017, hundreds of new cases continue to be reported every week. In Haiti and Yemen, we've seen how deadly a lack of infrastructure can be. But with no end in sight to the war, it doesn't look like Yemen's health crisis will be letting up anytime soon.
So wait a minute, I thought the Hillary Clinton, the champion of human rights and women's rights around the world with the Clinton Foundation, went into Haiti and made everything better. Oh no, wait, they went in there and raped them even more. And said they were going to go in there with contractors, but those contractors just went in there and fucked them even more. That was Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. In Haiti, by the way. Cholera. I want you to think about that, because cholera, water that's contaminated with fecal matter, lack of access to treatment. those two things are going to be happening a lot in the United States of America with hurricane season and uninsured Americans. And as their coastal towns and cities become flooded and isolated and basically islands, they won't be able to get the basic treatment for things like cholera. Be interesting to see what happens in the third world of the United States of America. But it's kind of karmic it's karmic justice because, as somebody else mentioned, who was it said this? I remember Ethiopia in the 80s. Andreas.
Yes.
I do too. Yeah, Markus.
Yes.
Yeah.
The pictures are in their message always the same, and it shows mankind is too stupid.
Yeah.
We could solve the hunger crisis like nothing. We could do it right now, and it's tragic, and to see those pictures and to see that we are not willing to help.
No, we're not. We help cause it, and we're unwilling to stop it for our greed.
Yes.
For our greed. And pink eye. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's going to get interesting here. It already is. There's already places where this is happening in the United States of America. We break out of measles and other things because, I mean, this is unheard of. We've eradicated these things because we had a clean society and people had access to decent health care, at least for the most part. That's no longer the case. It's no longer the case. And we're seeing it in outbreaks of different things around our country and people without access to basic health care. And then in some cases, it's just natural selection. I got to be honest. As much as I want to save all of humanity, as much as I love everybody, sometimes you just got to let natural selection take its course. This isn't about Trump, really. This is about the mayor. The mayor of the town and the town, all big supporters of Trump. They believe him. This town has been watching the water rise. It's obviously on the edge of the ocean for quite some time, and they don't know what to do about it. But Trump told the mayor of the sinking island, don't worry about sea level rise. And the mayor, this his words, says sea level rise caused by global warming is threatening the existence of a tiny community of Tangier Island, Virginia, located in Chesapeake Bay. Right? And here's what Trump told Mayor James Ooker, whatever his name is, Eskridge, James Ooker Eskridge, that's his name, that's his middle name, moniker name, in a phone call on Monday that residents of Tangier Island, he said, residents of Tangier Island have nothing to fear when it comes to rising sea levels. He said, we shouldn't worry about rising sea levels. He said, your island has been there for hundreds of years, and I believe your island will be there for hundreds more. Eskridge, for his part, does not believe that the town's flooding issues are a result of global warming, according to the Post interview with him. Bye. Bye-bye. See ya. Natural selection means that the dumb go. That's just dumb. I'm sorry. You're right there. You're watching the water rise. Stay there. Just stay there, please. Your whole family, all y'all. Stay right there. Let the water come into your living room and fall asleep. Stay right there, please. Jesus.
But maybe Trump is right, and that it will last the next 100 years. Okay, you maybe have to breathe through your nose, but okay, if you meant this, all right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they'll build a beautiful wall, build a big wall around the island, and then everybody will never see beyond the wall. But you won't be drowning. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Moving on. This is awesome. California, but you guys know that Jeff Sessions, I don't know who he asked, some court or somebody, it's like, can I break the rules and go after marijuana people because I hate marijuana so much? California said, fuck you, Jeff. California State Assembly just passed a bill to make California a sanctuary state from the federal marijuana laws. Meaning local and state police cannot work with federal law authorities to crack down on marijuana activity that's legal in California. The bill is in direct response to Trump and Sessions' threat, little elf man, to enforce federal laws over state laws. The bill also ensures that local and state money will not go to the enforcement of federal laws. Yay! Against individuals or entities who are following state laws. The bill is now in the hands of California State Senate, which better damn pass it. Hopefully they'll pass it to make California the first sanctuary state from the bad trip of Trump. Not a wonderful thing? I think that's really good. I'm glad for that. Congratulations, California, for thinking it. You don't get to do both, Republicans. You don't get to tell us that for decades you've wanted to just make states, give the states the power and the rights to choose things, except for the things that you don't want them to have to do that. It's kind of like with abortion, right?
Yeah.
You don't get to do that. It's the same shit you stupid lying Christian Republicans do with the Bible. You pick and choose the pieces you like, you ignore the rest. You don't get to do that anymore. You don't get to pick and choose how things function. You want states to have power? We're happy to take that power, and we're going to wield it over you. Good luck coming into California, Jeff. And I hope Oregon follows suit. Because here's my personal statement. I will grow as much cannabis on my property as I damn well please, and I don't give a rat fuck about any laws. Because I don't believe that any government law, state, local, federal, or otherwise, has the right to tell me what I can grow for medicine on my property. So there. Everybody has the right to say that. Does that mean that I'm subject to Oregon state laws? Yes. That's how I feel about it. Federal government has even less right to do it than a state. Okay? So just want to go there. Germany is following in American stupidity, says Tanisha Foster. With what?
I don't know. Possible, but what do you mean, Tanisha?
Yeah, I know.
What exactly?
Germany. We were talking
Won't
about
deny it. Won't deny it.
We need the Merkel miracle. We were talking about that. You can't. The Merkel. Oxycodone. What are we talking? I can't grow oxycodone on my property. No, what are you talking about? So exactly. So there. Like it really matters. Like it really matters what I say, right? I mean, honestly, it feels good though. It feels good to say it. I'd love to work for a medical marijuana dispensary. Me too. Not really. I don't have the time to do that kind of stuff. I'd rather do politics, but it'd be fun to work at a dispensary in general, right? Like a part-time job, just go in a few days a week just to see what's going on. That would be nice. Pot is illegal in Germany, Dennis, but it's not really enforced, right? I mean,
it is illegal to buy it, but not illegal to possess a certain amount of marijuana.
There you go. Possession is not legal. Purchasing and selling is legal.
Yes, they are thinking maybe it is falling from the skies. I don't know.
Right. And I'm sorry, you guys. You're talking about oxy addictions and stuff, and I totally get that. That's one of the reasons I'm such a proponent of cannabis. And listen, I almost ripped a girl's head off at the first office because she asked me if I would sign some document regarding pain meds and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I won't take opioids. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to take your opioids. It's just like, because I had all this stuff on the walls about opioids. And I was like, please tell me you're not pushing that shit too. But it's so, we're just waking up to the fact that we've been pushing it. I want to tell you just a difference, an interesting hypocrisy. When my grandfather, in 1985, my grandfather died very horribly of cancer in New Jersey. And at the time in the state of New Jersey, this is before pain management, the term pain management, or even the concept of giving a fuck about the pain the patient's experiencing over whatever it is we're giving them for the pain. There used to be a period of time where if you were in pain and the law said you couldn't have any more pain medication, you just had to be in pain. Fuck you. My grandfather was terminal, dying of cancer. It's all over his body. He was in pain, incredible pain. I saw it. I was young, and I I went through the door really at a bad time, and I saw him in pain. I'd never seen a face like that. Just teeth gritted, trying not to look in pain and look at me. And my mom was screaming at the time. My mom was a nurse. She was screaming at the doctors. She wanted to airlift my grandfather to New York because New York didn't have a restriction on morphine. My grandfather was only allowed to receive a morphine shot every 4 hours, and he was running into pain every 2. So he spent 2 hours gritting his teeth in pain while he died. Every 2 hours. Thanks to New Jersey and their bullshit fuck laws. Today, however, New Jersey's keen on pushing opioids. The same shit that my grandfather could have used to relieve his pain before he died. This is the hypocrisy of government and bullshit assholes in government who are more interested in profit than human beings. Because all of those decisions are about profit. We don't want to be using the morphine back then because it was expensive. Oh, today we want to sell the fuck out of morphine, so sell the fuck out of it. Just a quick story about healthcare in America. Anyway. And then you get to cannabis and greed, because here you go. 28% tax on marijuana. That's the plan under the latest bill for, I believe this is Boston? Yeah. Boston, which approved a medical marijuana bill, now says, well, let's just make as much money off of the people on this as we possibly can. What's the tax on booze? Just curious. Just curious. Is it 28%? That'd be a lot, wouldn't it? Tax your beer. Good old American beer, 28%. Woo. Imagine that. Anyway. I am an admitted alcoholic. I stay very far away from booze. If I ever do want to die, though, no, that's not the way I would do it, because it would take me 2 years, at least. I'd take a long decline.
Forget it.
Yeah, it's not.
Don't think about it.
No. But a lot of people say, "Ah, man, I'm out." You know, I used to think about it. If I wanted to just go out, that's what I do, and I'm like, no, it would take too long. Jeez, it'd take me forever. You know, I'd run out of money before I could buy enough booze to kill myself. Euthanasia should be legal. I agree. Sorry. Washington State has a big tax on alcohol. Some states do. A lot of states do. It's just that they're taxing the shit out of cannabis. They're just it's really outrageous. Which is why I'm a big proponent of growing your own and as much of it as you possibly can. Especially in rural, it's good. It works out that way. Your 22-year-old sister is doing 10 years in prison because of opioids. Wow.
Shit.
That's yeah. Alcohol is a solvent, not a drug. Exactly. Alcohol is not medicine. It is a solvent. It's a very good point. Where I live, no doctor prescribes you pain meds except for 10 days after surgery and the likes. You have to go to a pain specialist. Yeah, it's interesting. Canadian booze has a high built-in tax. See, the rich, and I say this loosely, the rich. We're going to end here. I know it's 12:08. We're going to go out with a good song here. But duty free. If you can afford the luxury of travel, you can afford to buy things without high tax. It's a lovely thing that the rich have set up for themselves. If you can go on cruises and go places, international waters are exempt. And right, Marcus, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
The duty-free stores.
The duty-free stores. Yeah.
Helium is used by angels. What density? Helium is used by angels. Angels in quotes. Oh, just guess what? You guys. Sorry, I've lost place there. You need some desperate. Are you guys punning? You guys are punning. Crazy. All right. It was a good show. If you didn't watch the David Hildebrand last night, that was great. He answered a lot of questions. We said we were going to have David back on because we didn't get all the questions answered. And go donate, help him. If you're in California, work with him. He's smart. He's somebody we want to put in office because he actually understands how to write legislation and read it and he will read it. He read the whole 37-page single-payer bill for California. Feinstein can't even find some fucking papers on whatever the fuck she wants to talk about. I mean, come on, you know? it's
a no-brainer to get David in.
It's like, I mean, if you really want to go to the lowest common denominator, elect the person that seems to be alive. It's
most possibly alive, yes.
But David is so much more than alive. He's alive with purpose, not just title, right? Right? So let's keep that in mind. Help David. Cynical girl, I've not had any weed since October. I desperately need weed. Come on out. Come on out. If I had help here, we could have a bigger operation. I just can't do it. I can't, not do it. Anyway. Duty free is high price. You really don't save much. Yeah, I guess. Depends. It was a good interview, Katie. Thank you so much. And I guess when are we going to have Katie back on to talk about things over there?
Yes, on Sunday we have the second round and the final round of the French election. Then we will see how big Emmanuel Macron's win finally is. And Katie contacted me, and I think it would be best if we would have her after the election on our Tuesday shows, where she does a quick report about the French election and the outcome, and what are the perspectives for France now. And and I'm looking forward to it. And great to have Katie with us.
Yes, awesome, good, thank you. That sounds good, cynical girl. I don't have a place to be. If you had I don't have a small living area, unfortunately. That would work. But I appreciate that. That'd be cool. So, all right. End song. End song is... Markus actually kind of suggested this.
No, we came both of it was your idea, I think, in the first place, and then I said, yeah, this is a very good thing, because the song we are about to hear now is coming from a complete other world, complete other American world, if you want so, right?
Yeah, this is an America of the past. although the words, I was reading the words, and they're I never really paid that much attention to the words, because this song was in a movie, an Eddie Murphy movie. Right? I think it was called Living in America. Or, what was it? Oh, no, what was it?
It was Rocky. It was a Rocky.
Was this
theme.
Rocky? Living in America? I thought this was an Eddie Murphy money. Shit. Well, no. God, I don't remember. It's my bad. Now Markus knows 80s fucking movie culture better than I do. Jesus.
I'm so sorry, man.
Okay. Living in America by James Brown. The words are not what I remember from the 80s. Of course, I was young at the time. Interesting perspective, certainly for today. But I dropped 2 links in there for songs. The second one, because I was looking for a parody of Living in America. And I typed in parody, Living in America, James Brown. And I got this other thing, which is not my phone ringing. I got this other thing, which is it's called Middle Class in America. It's a parody song, and it was done in 2010. It's not based on James Brown at all. What I found interesting was it's kind of talking about the sad state of middle class America in that kind of jokey way. I want to keep my cell phone and my cable, but I can't afford to fix my car and buy food. That kind of paradigm. What I found more interesting about it was it's all white people. There's not a single anything else. So it really should be renamed White Person's Version of Middle Class America, and this was done in 2010. So I'd be interested to see where that would be today. Living in America. I think we're all waking up to the fact that it is not what we thought it was, and it's not as good as it could be. And look around and realize that other places, they got it going on. We got some work to do. We got to clean America before we enjoy living in America again. Seems to be the problem. Thank you all for being here, everybody. and we will see you tomorrow. Is it tomorrow Friday? Saturday.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Okay. I got my days mixed up. See you tomorrow. Wake with John and Markus.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
See you, everybody.
Nation.